Hi Next Phase fam, happy Monday. I cannot wait to see you guys tonight on Zoom. So we are in contrast phase this week, which means we're going to be focusing on power and strength. So our first half of class is going to be our power round. We are going to have 4 different stations, 2 moves at each station. We're doing them each 3 times, 30 seconds each. So at each station, you'll perform your moves 3 times, alternating between the 2 for a total of 3 minutes. Your first power station, you're going to have a sprinter sit-up. So if you've got yourself a mat, you're gonna need a mat for today. If not, you can just do it on the ground. No muss, no fuss. You're gonna lay yourself out. Bring your right elbow to your left knee. Contracting your core. Exploding up. Think power in the core. Sprinter sit-up. Your second move is going to be a power jack. So you're going to start legs together. Well, legs about hip width distance apart. Hands are overhead. Jack down into a squat and back up. Make sure you're keeping that chest nice and high. Squeezing your glutes on the way down. All right, guys, for our next power round, 2 moves. You're going to start standing. Feet are going to be nice and wide. You're bringing your right elbow to your left knee, contracting your core. If you want to add a 1, 2, 3, Heisman. Your second move, you're going to come into a plank position. It's a plank to pike jump. You are on your hands. They are under your shoulders. Feet can be nice and wide or more narrow. What you're going to do is pike in, jumping, bringing your feet together. Beautiful. Use that core to contract yourself in. Make sure it's nice and powerful. If that's just a little too much, you can step, mountain climber, knee jump in. All right, third round of power, 2 moves. This one is a doozy. So these are our power jumps. What you're gonna do, make sure your feet are nice and wide. We're not going too far out sumo style, but give yourself some room. Point those toes out. Squat it down, power jump up. As you jump, make sure you're using that core to pull your knees nice and high. And when you land in your bent squat position, nice and soft in your feet. All right, second move is gonna be your log jump. So I want you to imagine there's a log to the side of your right leg. What you're going to do, high knee over, bringing your feet together. Next phase, we made it to our strength portion of class. You guys crushed that power. I know it was a lot of jumping, but what we're going to do next, we have our strength half. So you're gonna have 2 moves at each station, 4 stations, but you're gonna be doing them twice for 45 seconds each. I'm using my household items for strength. So I have a watermelon, I have 2 12 packs of soda with handles, makes that really easy to use. And I also have my water bottle, which is always nice because it gets me drinking water while I work out. But remember, we have 45 seconds for each move. The goal here is not to max out on reps. The goal here is a little bit heavier weight, slow, controlled movements. Even if you don't have a heavier weight, your focus is going to be really contracting those muscles, that mind-muscle connection, making sure you feel that burn to get stronger. All right, our first station. I'm using my watermelon, mini watermelon, and this one's going to be a little bit core. So, well, all core. So, your first move is your boat pose 3-way press. You're going to come into your boat pose, shoulders are back, chest is up, legs are nice and straight. Your watermelon or your ball or whatever you have is at your chest. Press up, press left, press right, press up, press left, press right. If it's too much, you can bring your knees in for a little bend in the knee, or you can always bring your feet to the ground. Just make sure you're keeping that chest up and shoulders back. That's your first move. Your second move, I'm also gonna use my watermelon again. If you have a kettlebell, if you have a weight, if you have a bottle, whatever you have, you can use it for these moves. But I am going to bring my watermelon behind my head. Make sure your back is totally on your mat or your floor. Your spine is tucked. I'm bringing my feet right overhead. They're above my hips. Feet are flexed, stamping the ceiling. I'm holding onto my watermelon behind my head, lowering my legs, keeping my lower back on the floor, and bringing back up. Make sure you're keeping this move nice and slow, controlled, and keeping your lower back on the floor. Okay, next base fam, next strength round is tricep dips and V push-ups. So for your tricep dips, go ahead and sit yourself on the ground. You're going to bring your hands behind your buttocks. Make sure your fingers are facing your glutes and your feet. You're going to bring your feet under your knees, lowering your butt, bending your elbows as you come down. If you have an elevated surface, feel free to do this on your elevated surface so you can get a little bit more bend in your elbows. Make sure you keep your elbows pointing straight back. If you want more of a challenge, you can go straight in your legs. If you want less, bend those knees. If this is too much for your wrists, feel free to grab a weight. Make sure your elbows are nice and close to your head. You're tucking those glutes, bringing the weight up, squeezing your elbows as you come up. Tricep extension. Your second move is a V push-up. So, this one's a fun one and it's gonna shred your shoulders so good. What you're gonna do, start yourself in a plank position. Walk your feet in, point, invert your hands so your fingers face one another, bend your elbows, up and down. All right, next phase fam, for my next round, I'm using two 12 packs of cans. Try to find something with a handle and make sure that these things have 2 equal weights that you can distribute in your right and your left hand. My first strength move here is gonna be a suitcase deadlift. So I'm grabbing my cans by the handle. They're gonna be held at my side. I'm making sure that they're not brushing up against my thighs. Instead, I'm holding them out a few, just about a couple inches. My chest is up, my shoulders are back. I'm gonna be doing a suitcase deadlift. So I'm starting with a slight bend in my knees to not irritate them as I come down, pushing my butt back, making sure the cans are staying at the side of my leg, returning back up and squeezing. It's our deadlift motion. Up and down. Our second move, I'm going to use my water bottle. It's going to be a 3-point crossbody row. So if you have a chair, that's awesome. Just try to find yourself an elevated surface. Your feet are about hip width distance apart. You're going to bend forward at your hips. I'm placing my left hand on the chair for stabilization and support. My right hand is holding the weight of your choice, or of my choice. I'm bringing my right hand between my left arm and my left leg. I'm bringing my right hand across my body, lifting my elbow, bringing it close to my side for a crossbody row. I'm looking forward, engaging my lats, squeezing at the top. right here. All right, next phase fam, we made it to our final strength round. So I've taken my 2 soda cans and I've racked them onto my shoulders. If you want to do this, our first move is going to be a kneel to stand. You can either hold your weights at your side or rack them up on your shoulders as such. But what you're going to do is start in your kneeling position. Make sure the weight is evenly distributed. You're going to come up on the right, come up on the left into a squat, stand and squeeze. Down on the left, down on the right. I'm going to be alternating feet as we go, but we have 45 seconds. If you want to lead with the right for 45 seconds, you can, and then switch to your left side, but make sure you're doing the same amount on the right that you're doing on the left to really even out that strength. Your second move, you need a moderate weight dumbbell of some sort. You're gonna come into a side plank. We're doing 45 seconds on the right and 45 seconds on the left. Feet are stacked on one another. Quads and legs are in line with your core. Elbow is under your shoulder. You're coming up into your side plank. You're grabbing your dumbbell with your raised arm. You're going to lift and squeeze. Make sure at the top of your motion, you're squeezing into that back. 45 seconds each side.